So the holiday season is when many community members choose to give back and help people in need. But if you're having trouble deciding where to start or finding a project that would be a good fit, don't let that deter you. Nadia Gondara, Volunteer Engagement Manager at United Way of King County, is here to guide us in the right direction so we can really make a difference during the season of giving and then throughout the year. And it's important to know how to volunteer because sometimes our own concept of what would be helpful is not maybe what an organization needs. Is that the general idea?
Definitely, yeah. And to your point, a great place to start is just searching and seeing where are their needs. On United Way's website, there's a volunteer page. It has a huge database filled with different opportunities that nonprofits across the county have put information into. So, yeah.
And then we can kind of scroll through and see what matches our available time or skill set, you know, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So with volunteering, obviously, a lot of people try to do it during the holiday season, and maybe, you know, they haven't, excuse me, up till now, so the spaces fill up quickly, correct?
Yeah, so it's great to reach out to an organization as soon as you're ready to start volunteering to see if there's availability. And then it's also an opportunity to get really creative and think about maybe projects that you can do at home. So some of those can look like maybe a drive or putting together some sort of kit or maybe wrapping some gifts. Before getting started on that, obviously reaching out to the organization to see what the need is.
What they need. Yeah. So we think about shelters and soup kitchens a lot this time of year, even though that need is year round. But there are other things that we can look into that might have more space available. Yeah,
so there are, you know, going into the new year, a lot of organizations are just needing help getting things spruced up, a lot of organization and a lot of cleaning. Some of that can also maybe include outdoor projects like landscaping. So really just helping organizations get the year off to a good start is a place to look.
And you recommend that we be patient with organizations. Sometimes there's not a full-time volunteer coordinator or whatever, so give them a minute to sort of figure out where they can use you.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a good idea. There are things, as you mentioned, we can do at home. So let's talk about, you mentioned starting a drive. Give me an example of that.
Yeah, so especially, you know, in terms of the theme of this year, adopting a family is really popular right now. So purchasing gifts kind of based on a family's wish list and maybe wrapping those and then dropping those off in an organization is an example of what that could look like.
Great. You mentioned creating kits, and I'm not entirely sure I know what you mean.
Yeah, so some organizations may need help stuffing envelopes or maybe putting packets together that they're going to use for projects throughout the year. So it's kind of that sort of thing, or also maybe putting together sorts of creative arts and crafts kits that they might use during holiday parties or that sort of thing.
Or a shelter might need them for kids, whatever.
Exactly.
You mentioned contacting, obviously, the organization first. You don't want to drop off something they don't need or they already have or whatever. So what's the best way? Just call them on the phone, look for a place on online, or how best to verify that what they need and what you're going to do? So
some of those things might already be listed on the website, right? So when you're searching, you can look to see there are projects that are designated as like a create and deliver. So that's a way to look, but then also reaching out directly to the organization is a good first step, and that contact information is listed on the website as well.
And what they need might change, so contacting them, you know, is a good idea. Also the idea of volunteering after the holidays, because there's sort of the surge of volunteers and then maybe, you know, once the holidays are done, things decrease in January. So if you're super busy, you could just wait till January when they're going to have a need again.
Right, yeah. So at the United Way of King County, there's actually two really great programs that if you're interested in looking into more information. So one of those is the tax-free prep program. So last year, over 1,000 volunteers came together and prepared taxes for folks in our community. And another part of that program that's new this year is really thinking about the 2020 census. And so we're looking for census navigators to work alongside tax preparers to support people in filling out the census.
Oh, so people would come to them to fill out the census, or would they be going door to door to do that?
So that people would be coming to them. So we'll have tax sites across the county, and tax preparers will work alongside census navigators to help people fill out their taxes and the census.
Okay. So also for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, there is a day of service on January 20th. How can we be ready and thinking ahead for that?
Yeah. So again, you can also visit our website and start signing up for projects for MLK Day of Service. It's a really great opportunity to engage the family. There's a lot of family-friendly projects available. available. And projects for that day of service really focus around issues of social and racial justice. So it's a great opportunity to, again, raise awareness, do some continued learning, and get out in the community and volunteer.
There are many organizations, hopefully most or all of them, that do screening of volunteers to make sure that, you know, they're not having anybody come in who might be, you know, harmful to children or otherwise inappropriate to the job they're doing. And we need to be prepared for that when we contact them, correct?
Correct, yeah. And
give me an example of what kinds of things we should be prepared for.
Yeah, sometimes organizations might require a background check, or maybe you're kind of entered into their database just so that they know who's coming in the door ahead of time. And so, yes, that's great advice. Anytime before you're thinking about joining a project, reach out to that organization and kind of see what are those steps before day of that need to be completed so that you're ready to go when you get there.
So you're not surprised, or, you know, please don't be offended. It's just about, you know, safety for everybody involved. And just to give people an idea, the reason why we want to be careful about asking people what they need is because what happens when we drop off things they don't need, for example? What does that cause the organization to go through?
Yeah, it's just extra work of kind of that organization then having to figure out where will those things go that they don't need, you know, really just not being able to fill the needs of that organization. So it's just best to reach out and start that conversation so that both parties, you know, get the most benefit out of it.
I know people are super well-meaning, but if you drop off something, somebody probably can use it, but if that organization can't, they have to take the man-hours to get it someplace else.
Exactly, yeah.
And we don't want to do that. Thank you so much. Such great
thanks.
advice today, and we hope people will get involved with their kids and their families. After the break, how you can give your bathroom a facelift with an upgraded shower that looks beautiful. Back after this.